Hey there, you savvy seeker of sustainable gains, and a massive welcome back to EcoWealth Lab. We're really stoked to have you tuning in again.
Absolutely. If you're hunting for that eco-friendly wealth, yeah, you're definitely in the right digital neighborhood.
No, you're already, wisely cultivating your crypto knowledge just by being here. Think of it like tending a super cool digital garden.
Right. Needs nurturing.
Exactly. But hey, even the most vibrant gardens need a little extra pollination. So maybe toss this deep dive over the fence to a friend, someone who's kind of just starting to peek over at the crypto world.
Yeah, those crypto-curious seedlings, as you say.
You got it. Sharing is caring, right? And it helps everyone's, financial flora flourish.
Totally. Because let's face it, this crypto landscape, it can feel like a bit of a jungle sometimes.
Oh, for sure.
And that's kind of where we come in. Today, we're going to hack through the undergrowth of the last 24 hours.
Yep, cut right to the chase.
Exactly. Bring you the essential insights, the stuff that really matters for you as an investor without getting totally lost in the vines.
Okay, let's dive in. First big thing seems to be regulatory stuff again. Oregon's AG.
Yeah, the Oregon Attorney General is planning to sue Coinbase, unregistered securities.
Okay, but didn't the SEC kind of drop a similar case before?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes this interesting. The fact that a state AG is picking it up now really highlights, the ongoing challenges these crypto businesses face. It's potentially fragmented.
Right, different rules in different states. That sounds like a headache.
It could be a real compliance nightmare. You might have different interpretations, different enforcement.
Impacting what services they can even offer state by state.
Potentially, yeah. It's definitely something to watch.
And sticking with regulators,
Uh-huh.
the SEC hit the brakes on some crypto ETF applications.
Yep, delayed again. New deadline is now June. This involves the ones with staking and the in-kind redemptions.
Staking and in-kind redemptions. So the newer, maybe more complex aspects.
Exactly. Staking is like earning rewards on the blockchain, and in-kind lets you swap ETF shares for the actual crypto.
Gotcha. So the SEC is still figuring out how those fit into the old financial frameworks. Investor protection, market mechanics.
Pretty much. They're clearly still grappling with it.
Yeah.
So that easier on-ramp for traditional investors via these specific ETFs, still on hold.
Okay, but on a slightly maybe brighter regulatory note, Arizona, SB 1373.
Yes, the Crypto Reserve Bill. It passed a House committee, so it's moving closer to becoming law.
So Arizona's trying to get ahead of the curve, set some standards for managing crypto reserves.
Looks like it. Positioning themselves as a leader, maybe. This kind of bill would set rules for companies holding crypto for others, safeguarding assets.
Could provide clarity, maybe attract businesses.
Could do. But then you have the question of how state rules like this might eventually mesh or clash with any future federal regulations. Always a consideration.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on the enforcement side, the Justice Department.
Right, they're stepping up focus on illicit uses, specifically drug cartels and terrorist groups using crypto.
And Homeland Security is looking into Anchorage Digital compliance issues.
Yeah, reports on that too. So increased scrutiny overall.
Which is good and bad. Good for legitimacy long-term, maybe.
Definitely aiming for that, making the space safer. But short term, it can spook the market, add compliance costs, risks for firms.
Double-edged sword. Got it. Okay, let's switch gears. Markets. Bitcoin jumped.
Oh yeah, big jump, 7.7%, pushing it up towards, what was it, $82,967.
Wow, and that followed President Trump pausing tariffs, the 90-day pause excluding China.
Exactly, and it wasn't just Bitcoin. Altcoins like XRP, Solana, they saw some nice double-digit gains too.
So it really shows how sensitive crypto is to these bigger picture things like global economics, geopolitics.
Totally. Signs of easing trade tensions, better global outlook often means more appetite for riskier assets, and crypto's definitely in that category for many investors.
Okay, but here's where it gets kind of interesting. We hear about ETF outflows sometimes, but then MicroStrategy.
Or just Strategy now, they rebranded.
Right, Strategy. They went and bought another 80,800 BTC.
Yep. 80,800 brings their total stash to, get this, 688,000 Bitcoin.
Whoa, that is a lot of conviction.
It really is a massive buy from a major institutional player. It kind of signals they're looking way beyond maybe short-term ETF trading noise.
Yeah.
They see it as a fundamental store of value.
The huge vote of confidence.
Yep.
And looking over to Asia, institutional moves there too.
Yeah, Hashkey Capital is launching Asia's first XRP tracker fund.
For professional investors, right? And Ripple's backing it.
Ripple's an anchor backer, yeah. And they're talking about more joint products later, so definitely growing institutional interest in XRP over there.
Interesting how it's regional. While the U.S. picture for XRP has been, well, complicated.
Exactly. Other regions might be moving differently, creating specific opportunities for XRP adoption and investment.
And maybe sensing a shift in the U.S. Canary Capital filed for a staked TRX ETF.
Seems like it. Perhaps they see a slightly more favorable environment potentially opening up.
And staking, just to remind folks, it's kind of like earning interest by helping run the network.
Right. So Canary Capital is maybe betting they can offer an ETF that gives you not just price exposure, but also those staking rewards.
If the SEC approves it, that could open up yield generation to more people through that familiar ETF structure.
Could do. It's another sign of the market trying to innovate within the existing structures.
Okay, let's jump into DeFi. Decentralized finance?
Yeah.
We're liquid. Making waves.
Big waves. They apparently hit 70% market share in on-chain perpetuals.
On-chain perpetuals. Like futures contracts directly on the blockchain.
Basically, yeah. And they processed $175 billion in March alone.
$175 billion.
Wow.
So traders are really moving from centralized exchanges to these decentralized ones for derivatives.
It's a significant shift. Shows how much the DeFi infrastructure is improving, the liquidity's there, traders are getting more comfortable.
That's huge. There's also some drama with KiloX, the hack.
Yeah, a $7.5 million hack. But this story has a kind of weird positive twist.
Oh.
The hacker actually returned all the stolen funds after KiloX offered a bounty.
No way. They got it all back.
All back. And KiloX dropped charges, even gave the hacker a 10% white hat bounty.
Huh. Crisis averted and then some. That's unusual for crypto hacks.
Very unusual. Highlights maybe some potential for self-governance or ethics within the community sometimes. A rare positive outcome.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, Solana governance. That's been a hot topic. Galaxy proposed something new.
Yeah, a new voting model for inflation. Remember, inflation here means creating new SOL tokens.
Right. And this is after that other proposal, SAMB 228, didn't pass. It was divisive.
Exactly. So Galaxy is trying to find a way to build consensus, improve how decisions about the network get made, address those stability concerns people have had.
Makes sense. Good governance is pretty crucial for these things long term.
Absolutely essential for the health of a decentralized network. Finding ways to agree on key stuff like the token supply rate.
And even meme coins are getting specialized tools now. BY launched MoonX.
Yeah, an on-chain trading tool specifically for meme coins.
So they're leaning into this CEX plus DSX model. Centralized and decentralized features together.
Seems like it. Offering things like smart trading, risk management, but tailored for that super volatile meme coin market.
Shows how the ecosystem is maturing, right? Even niche areas are getting dedicated infrastructure.
Definitely. Indicates the significance that sector, love it or hate it, has gained, catering to specific trader demands.
Okay, what about real-world adoption? People actually using this stuff?
We're seeing more of it, like a Spar supermarket in Zug, Switzerland. They now accept Bitcoin.
Via the Lightning Network for faster, cheaper payment.
Exactly. Makes it practical for buying groceries, you know? And they're joining over 1,000 other businesses in Switzerland already taking Bitcoin.
So it's slowly happening, especially with things like Lightning making it usable day to day.
It underscores that increasing practicality.
Yeah.
Mainstream integration, at least in certain places.
And stablecoins.
Yeah.
Still growing like crazy.
Huge growth. The market cap hit $200 billion. That's up 47%.
Wow. And big TradFi names are getting involved. Visa, Fidelity.
Yep. Visa's involved in stablecoin initiatives. Fidelity's exploring launching its own.
So stablecoins are really becoming that key bridge between old finance and crypto, offering stability, easier entry.
Absolutely. Crucial role. Lower volatility entry points for payments, DeFi, and having names like Visa and Fidelity involved just adds more validation.
Okay, one last piece. Not directly crypto, but could have ripple effects. Trump reportedly thinking about firing Fed Chair Powell.
Yeah, reports suggest he's unhappy with interest rate policy, accusing Powell of playing politics.
So while it's about the Fed and monetary policy?
Any big shakeup there or big policy shifts can definitely impact all financial markets, crypto included.
Right. So investors should probably keep an eye on those broader macro things too. Indirect influence.
Definitely worth watching. It affects overall market sentiment and risk appetite.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this whirlwind tour up. Key takeaways from the last 24 hours, just for our listeners.
Well, regulation is still unfolding, right?
Yeah.
Creates uncertainty, but also maybe new paths forward like we see in Arizona.
Yeah, and institutional interest is still there, maybe
Yeah.
shifting focus, like MicroStrategy's big buy versus ETF flows or the XRP focus in Asia.
Exactly. DeFi platforms are really getting traction, becoming more sophisticated, handling huge volumes.
And real-world adoption, like that SPAR example, it's continuing to expand, slowly but surely.
It's just a constantly moving target, isn't it? Staying informed, doing your own research, it's still absolutely key.
Couldn't agree more. Now, we're genuinely curious what caught your ear the most from all this. Or maybe you've got a question about something we didn't dive deep enough into.
Yeah, let us know.
Head down to the comments below. We actually read them. We love hearing from you. And hey, if you want to keep getting these, concise crypto updates,
Hit subscribe.
definitely hit that subscribe button. Think of it as planting another seed for your ongoing crypto education.
Stay informed, stay curious, and keep building your eco wealth.